The carbohydrate group is overwhelmingly plant-based, being comprised of sugars, starches, and various forms of fiber. This video will introduce carbohydrates and briefly discuss its simplest forms. Carbohydrate, if fully digestible, contributes roughly 4 kcal per gram and comes in various forms. Non-digestible carbohydrate is also known as fiber. Although not digestible by humans, some fiber can be digested or fermented, whether fully or partially, by gut flora, and such types of fiber are known as prebiotics. Although some other forms of carbohydrates also have positive prebiotic effects, oligosaccharides are the primary group known for their ability to actively play a role in the composition and activity of the gut flora, which helps maintain a healthy digestive tract. But before we get too deep into specifics, let's start this topic discussing saccharides, otherwise known as sugars, and go from there. As stated, one form of carbohydrate is known as sugar. The simplest of sugars are known as monosaccharides, with mono meaning one. A monosaccharide is a sugar that cannot be hydrolyzed into any simpler form of sugar. It is a single unit. The formula for a monosaccharide is CnH2nOn, with a value of N ranging from 3 to 8. The human digestive tract is capable of digesting only a very small portion of monosaccharides. These monosaccharides are primarily glucose, fructose, and galactose. These monosaccharides are all hexoses, meaning that N is equal to 6, or in simpler terms, they each contain exactly 6 carbon atoms. Even though they have the same chemical formula, C6H12O6, due to how the atoms are arranged, each of them have their own individual properties when it comes to chemical behavior, their sweetness level, and taste. The disaccharide that is commonly known as table sugar is the monosaccharide glucose and the monosaccharide fructose joined together by a glycosidic bond formed during a condensation reaction. This type of reaction, the joining of two molecules, results in one larger molecule, a disaccharide, and a molecule of water. The animation shows as the two molecules come together, a water molecule is forced out of the newly formed disaccharide as the glycosidic bond joins the two monosaccharides together. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, so let's recap some very important points covered so far. There are 3 primary or main monosaccharides that the body can digest. These primary monosaccharides are glucose, fructose, and galactose. It is the combination of 2 of these monosaccharides that make up the remaining simple sugars. When 2 monosaccharides are joined together by a glycosidic bond, one disaccharide and a water molecule are formed. It is important to remember this condensation reaction, as this is how the more complex carbohydrates are formed. Starches, fibers, and more complex sugars are built based upon the joining of simpler sugars via the glycosidic bond, and this will be the topic of the next video. RDStudy.com video tutorials are produced and owned by Nutrition News Network LLC. Any copying, reuse, or redistribution, in full or in part for any purpose without the written consent of Nutrition News Network LLC is prohibited. All rights reserved.